I'm Esther. I welcome you specially to my channel. If you are new and a returning subscriber here, it's always a delight to have you. And I want to especially thank those of you that left me comments, and some called me, I even got like 1 or 2 emails from some of you guys. Thank you so much for the feedback. I'm so grateful, guys. Thank you. You know, most times when I see this comment and I see the phone calls, it just encourages me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. At least it's good to know that 1 or 2 people are learning things from my video. In today's video, I want to teach you how you can create your very own unique recipe all by yourself using what is known as baker's percentage. When you're starting out, it's always a challenge trying to get the right recipe to use. Most times, you find people asking, would they like my bread? What kind of bread? What quantity of sugar should I use? Should I put milk? What about eggs? You know, there's so many questions running through people's mind, especially when you want to start out. But trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be able to create a recipe for yourself. Those questions of yours are valid. When I was about to start, like I always say, I didn't know jack. I didn't know anything about bread making. No. I just knew I wanted to start a business, especially a business in something that was fast moving, you know, and also considering the number of breads that we consume in my household, like up to 2 to 3 loaves sometimes. So bread just popped in. So I said, okay, let me go try it out. So you see, there's nothing under the sun that cannot be learned, especially if you put your mind into it. Nobody was born already figuring it out in this life. Everybody had to learn at one point or the other. So before I deviate, let's come back to the topic at hand. Please click on the subscription button and like this video. Also, don't forget to turn on the notification button and leave me a comment down below, so at least I know that you were here. Okay, guys. Before we start, let's even get to know what exactly is bread recipe. Bread recipe. Who gives a bread recipe? What exactly is this bread recipe? Okay, bread recipes are the list of ingredients that is required to make a particular kind of bread. For example, you have the sweet white bread. You want to make the sweet white bread. You want to make the coconut bread or cinnamon bread, wheat bread, banana bread, you know, and so on. There are different kinds of bread out there. Now, how do you know what right recipe? What are the recipes to use? So you see, you're going to need different ingredients to prepare these different types of bread. Although some of the ingredients might be the same for all the bread, with an addition of maybe 1 or 2 other ingredients. Now, how do you know what quantity of ingredients to use exactly? That's one major issue that most people always have with when you want to make bread at home or for commercial purpose. You know, you see some people going to the internet to look for a recipe. You don't have to, my dear. You can create this recipe yourself. This is why we are going to be using a basic universal formula called the baker's percentage. This baker's percentage is used all over the world to curate or create your very own special recipe without you going to ask or pay someone to create a recipe for you. I mean, why pay when you can actually formulate a recipe for yourself? Before we begin, let's even know the list of these ingredients that are usually required during bread making. These basic ingredients are sugar, butter, yeast, salt, preservative, improver, or what we call the emulsifying dough conditioner, EDC for short. Some people call it EDC. It's called emulsifying dough conditioner. Then your milk, some people add eggs, cinnamon, flavor, vegetable oil. All these other ones are optional. And last but not the least is water. Yeah, so water, the quantity of water you will use is also part of your recipe. All this depends on the type of bread that you want to make. Okay, guys, to own or to run a bakery successfully, your mathematical skills must come into play because you're going to be measuring these ingredients. And these ingredients are measured in grams, kilograms, and in liters. On your screen, I'm going to give you a list of these major ingredients with the universally acceptable percentage that has been assigned to them by world-renowned bakers. Now let's take note. 1 kg is equals to 1000 gram and 1 liter is equals to 1000 ml. Let's see what exactly this baker's formula really is. In this formula, your flour is considered 100%. It doesn't matter the type of flour it is or the quantity. Even if it's a 1 kg or a 2 kg or even 500 grams of flour, it's still considered 100%. So take note, your flour is considered 100%. So showing on your screen are the list of acceptable percentages that has been assigned to all the ingredients. I think you can pause this video so at least you can take a look at all the figures that have been assigned to it by world-renowned bakers. The one that created this is there. If you go to baking school or you study or you do your research, you'll find out that there is a universal baker's percentage that has been assigned to all the ingredients when you want to make bread. Now, it is left to you to tweak them, and then be able to create a recipe for yourself out of these percentages that has been assigned to them. This was how I was able to create a recipe for my bakery and so many other people. So you going to go and pay 1 or 2 people to create a recipe for you? Well, if you have so much money, you can do that. But I will advise you not to, that you can actually create a recipe for yourself using these standard basic formulas that have been stipulated, that has been put down by bakers. You can choose any number in between these percentages. Like for example, you have, I think yeast is 0.4 to 1%. So if you have 0.4 to 1%, you have to stick to this particular percentage. You can't go less than 0.4 and you cannot go more than 1%, depending on the kind of flour that you are using. Like I told you, that your flour determines the quantity of ingredients to use. If you're using a 2 kg flour, it means that you're going to have to measure this ingredient based on that 2 kg flour. So guys, in this formula, your flour is considered 100%, like I said. It doesn't matter the type of flour that it is or the quantity, or even if it's a 1 kg or a 2 kg or even 500 grams of flour, it's still considered 100%. Next ingredient is your yeast, which you can see is 0.4 to 1% of that your flour that you have measured out. For example, if you're using a 2 kg of flour to make your bread, it then means that you're going to have to choose between 0.4 to 1% of that your 2 kg flour, and nothing more or nothing less is acceptable. It could be 0.4, it could be 0.5, it could be 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, 1% of your flour. Anything less than 0.4% or more than 1% in bread making ethics is not acceptable. So you only have between this window to experiment and choose what quantity of the yeast will be right for the kind of bread that you want to make. Now, let's look at sugar. Sugar is between 10% to 12% of your flour. Nothing less and nothing more is acceptable unless you want to literally give people diabetes. Salt is 1.5% to 2% of your flour. Remember, we are using a 2 kg of flour, for example. Before we proceed, let's do the mathematics for sugar. This will apply to every other ingredient that we'll be using. If your flour is a 2 kg, remember, which is 2,000 grams, right? Remember I told you that 1 kg is equals to 1,000 grams. And let's say we decide to use 11% sugar from the Sugar Universal Baker's percentage of 10% to 12%. So using our example of a 2 kg flour, which is 2,000 grams, and sugar 11%, this will give us 2,000 times 11 divided by 100. Your result will be 220 grams. So if this gives us 220 grams of sugar for that your 2 kg of flour, same calculation goes if you are to choose a 10% or a 12% of sugar. Your bread will still be very good to consume. If you go beyond 12% to say 13% or 14%, your bread will be too sweet for human consumption. Or if you decide to go less to say 9% or 8%, you're going to end up with bread that is not sweet. And people will run away from your product in the market. They'll say, that bread is not sweet. Or you don't want them complaining the bread is not sweet. And you also don't want them to say, that bread is too sweet. I don't like sugary things, So I don't know if you get the logic now. I hope you understand this. You can pause this video so you can copy down the full baker's percentage for all the major ingredients that will be showing on your screen. Or rather, I'm sure that is showing on your screen. There are some ingredients that are just single percentage, like the preservative that is 0.4%, yeah? You have to stick to the number no matter the flour you're using, nothing less or more. Your salt is between 1.5% to 2%. Water, which is also part of your recipe, is between 50% to 64%. Flavor, if you're the type that likes flavored bread and you know the customers that you want to be making this bread for will also like the kind of flavor you want to use. I personally don't use flavor for my bread because I don't really like flavored bread. But if you like it, please go ahead. Flavor is 0.01% to 0.15%. Butter is between 2% to 5%. There are different types and different brands of butter out there in the market with different tastes to choose from. EDC, which I said is called the emulsifying dough conditioner, is used to improve the look of your bread. It's usually in liquid form and is only 0.1% of your flour. Preservative, this is 0.4%. Then there's also the improver. This is usually in powdery form, just like the EDC. It also helps to improve the quality of your bread, and it is 0.02% to 0.04%. You can also add eggs if you choose to. You can add milk, you can add coconut, you can add cinnamon. All this can be part of your recipe. But please take note that these ones don't have baker's percentages. You know, they are all additional ingredients. You know how we do it in Africa now. When you want to put salt or you just keep adding these other ingredients till the spirit says, stop, my child. Okay, so these are the baker's percentages used all over the world to formulate a recipe during bread making. Go try it out. Choose any figure between the windows that is acceptable. Keep experimenting till you are satisfied with your results. Then you can adopt it and make it yours. Start your brand and the heavens will back you up. This is what I did. And today, my bread, Tajent Bread, which you can check out on Instagram and on Facebook, has been able to carve out a space for itself in the bread making industry. So guys, if you have gained knowledge here, do your girl well now. Please do me well by leaving a comment down below. Subscribe to my page. Like my video. Alright guys. At least by the time you even leave a comment, I get to know that you were around, you came around and you saw this video. I hope you've gained knowledge. God bless you till I come your way next time. Bye bye. Cheers for now.